Rasheeda wasn't even supposed to be there. She had wrapped up her shoot hours earlier, but she followed her instincts and went straight into Kirk Frost's dressing room, where she caught him red-handed with another woman sitting on his lap with lipstick smeared and laughing in his ear as if she owned him. The night was supposed to be peaceful on set, with lights dimmed and cameras off, just another break between scenes. But in a matter of seconds, everything descended into chaos. Rasheeda froze. Then, without missing a beat, she exploded. "You think? I wouldn't find out." When she yelled, her hand flew across Kirk's face with a loud snap that cut off the entire story before he could even stand it. The woman leapt to her feet and fled. Fans are shocked, producers are in a panic, and everyone is wondering if this is the last blow to hip-hop's most toxic love story. When Kirk staggered back, stunned, the cast and crew rushed in, but the damage was already done. Emotions ran high. Betrayal filled the room like smoke, and that was just the beginning because what Rasheeda did next would rock their entire world. She had proof, texts, photos, and voice notes, and she wasn't keeping silent this time. Everything went silent as soon as Rasheeda's palm touched K. Perk's face. The sound of the slap reverberated through the studio corridors like a gunshot. "This is what you've been doing behind my back," she yelled, her voice shaking after everything we've been through. "After all the times I forgave you." Kirk tried to step forward, stammering something like, "Baby, it's not what it looks like." Kirk didn't say a word. He just stood there frozen, his hand slowly rising to his cheek in disbelief. His eyes flicked toward the doorway, but the mystery woman was already gone, slipping out so quickly that it was as if she had disappeared. But Rasheeda interrupted him right away, saying, "Don't you dare bathe me." She yelled while displaying her phone. "Every time you deceive me, you act as though I didn't notice." Two cast members who had heard the ruckus slowly infiltrated from the corridor and murmured, "Yo, what's going on?" as the electric tension and danger in the room threatened to explode. However, nobody responded because everyone was focused on the scene in front of them. "You think I don't know her name? You think I don't know how long this has been going on?" Rasheeda took a deep breath and tried not to cry, but her hands were shaking. She flipped her phone around and showed Kirk a string of messages. "Listen, I didn't mean for it to go that far. It was just a mistake." "A mistake?" Kirk said, his face going pale as he peered at the screen and then turned away. The audience couldn't believe what they were hearing when Rasheeda yelled, her voice cracking. "You've been seeing her for weeks, Kirk. You had the nerve to bring her here to our set? Are you that bold or just that stupid?" This wasn't just another argument. This wasn't some petty reality show drama. This felt real, raw, and painful. And it wasn't over when Yon Dandy rushed into the room after hearing from a producer that something was going on. She took one look at Rasheeda's tears, her sane face, and Kirk's guilty expression, knowing that something terrible had happened. "Rasheeda," she said softly, approaching. "Come on, girl, let's just step out for a second." Rasheeda, however, was not moving. "No," she responded firmly. "I've been stepping out for years, stepping aside, stepping back. Not today." She looked back at Kirk. "How could you harm me once more? I didn't want to hurt you, so I laughed bitterly. After all these years, after all the public humiliation after raising your other children as if they were mine, after battling with my own family to defend you, and you repay me like this." Kirk tried to speak, but this time his voice was hardly more than a whisper. Too late, the tension increased, and as soon as individuals in the hallway began recording on their phones, information quickly spread. Scrappy had just left the set when someone texted him, and someone else attempted to phone Mimi and told her, "You need to get back here. It's bad." Rasheeda, on the other hand, refused to back down. She went through her phone once more and retrieved a voice message. She pressed play, and the woman's laughter filled the room as she said, "He told me he's only with Rasheeda for business. You weren't supposed to hear that. And yet I did," he muttered, clenching his jaw. "So tell me, was that true? Is that how you talk about me to the women you cheat with?" Rasheeda stated icily. Slammed the door before Kurt could answer it and stormed in, appearing both excited and shocked. "What's going on in here?" she screamed loudly. "You hid him, Rasheeda." Rasheeda turned to face her, her eyes burning. Mama D, if you knew what he did, you would have hit him too. She lifted her brows and gazed. Get up and go, Kirk. Damn you. Kirk shook his head in an attempt to regain control, saying, This isn't what it seems like. You're always ready to judge me, but you don't know the full story. You just can't stop. I messed up, but it's not like before. I wasn't trying to start another relationship. I don't know, it just happened. Kirk rubbed his face and finally sat, down defeated after explaining what Rasheeda demanded. Go ahead and explain how this woman ended up in your dressing room, why she was calling you late at night, and why I discovered hotel receipts and Uber rides on your business card. Rasheeda reiterated in a sarcastic tone. Everything just happened with you cheating, just happened, lying, just happened, humiliating me again on national television, just another accident. Andy attempted to intervene once again. Perhaps we should just end this now before things worsen. Perhaps have a private conversation, Rasheeda repeated. She opened her Instagram app, pushed the live button, and directed the camera at Kirk. Say hi to the fans, she said sourly. Go ahead and tell them what you've been up to. This isn't just my problem anymore. He made it public. So now it's going to be public. Come on, don't do this, Rasheeda, Kirk said, his eyes widening. What's going on? Is that Kirk? Why is she crying? Who do you cheat with this time? Viewers were asking in the live stream, but it was too late. You all wanted to know if we were good, Rasheeda said to the camera, her voice trembling. But now you know he's still the same. Kirk is still lying, still cheating, and I'm done pretending. The live stream suddenly jumped from a few hundred viewers to thousands in a matter of seconds. Kirk finally rose up as her voice broke again, saying, Rasheeda, please don't do this. She wasn't listening, though, because tears were flowing down her face, not from sadness, but from years of pent-up hatred. I gave you everything, she cried, and you gave me nothing but pain. Enough, you don't need to do this live. Let's just get you out of here, Yandi said, as she snatched the phone and turned it off, abruptly ending the live. Though Rasheeda believed the worst was over, things were about to take another dark turn that no one saw coming, so Yandandi gently pulled her away from the chaos. However, even as the screen went dark, the damage had already been done. The internet was already buzzing, the blobs were already taking it up, and somewhere in the distance, that same mystery woman was already making her own moves. Kirk stood by himself in the middle of the silent room. The clip from Rasheeda's Instagram Live was downloaded, reposted, and shared on every major gossip page in less than 10 minutes. Fans were shocked, and the betrayal felt personal to many, especially those who had watched the couple weather storm after storm in the dressing room for more than 10 years. Shame and whispers were nothing compared to the storm now raging online. Rashima sank into a chair, her hands covering her face. Yandandi knelt in front of her, holding her hands tightly, and she let the tears flow. After years of keeping it together, defending Kirk to friends and fans, and pretending everything was fine, all of it spilled out in that moment. Meanwhile, Kirk was pacing the hallway like a man on the verge of breaking as his phone buzzed nonstop with texts from his kids, his publicist castmates, and even Mama Scotty herself. Everyone wanted answers, or at the very least, damage control, but Kirk was unable to think clearly. He hadn't expected Rasheeda to find out like this, and he hadn't expected her to go live as he passed a quiet corner. Scrappy's enigmatic expression as she leans against the wall with her arms folded. Yo, Kirk said in a low voice. Scrappy didn't. Move you good, Kirk mumbled, rubbing his eyes. I messed up. Mad Scrappy shook his head. You always do, man, and she always takes you back. That doesn't make you weak. It makes him trash. I should have left the first time, Rasheeda whispered, knowing that he hadn't changed, but I kept hoping for our family, our business, and everything we built. Before Yandandi could respond, the door opened, and Mimi stepped in, her face full of concern. I arrived as quickly as I could, seeing the live stream. Rasheeda gave a feeble nod, but I'll be. The paparazzi had already begun to gather outside the studio after someone leaked that drama was occurring during filming, and now every outlet wanted a piece of it. Security tried to keep them at bay, but flashes kept going off and questions were being shouted, such as, did Kirk really cheat again? Is Rasheeda pressing charges? Who is the other woman? Mimi sat next to her and pulled her into an embrace. Fans discovered her Instagram and analyzed every post, connecting multiple images to locations Kirk had recently visited. The evidence was indisputable, and Tamika, the mystery woman whose identity had now been made public, was embracing the attention by posting cryptic captions like, "When the truth comes out, don't act shocked." Kirk was losing it, so he eventually ran into a quiet stairway, took out his phone, and called Tamika. "Why did you send that voice note?" he asked. Some people never understand a true one until it's too late. He insisted, "Don't start yelling at me," to which she calmly retorted, "You said all those things, I just kept receipts." "You said you deleted it," Tamika angrily remarked, "and you said you love me." "Looks like we both lied," Kirk groaned. Angrily, "You just ruined my life." "No, Kirk," she said. "You did that yourself. I was just the last straw before he could argue further." Meanwhile, Mona had arrived on set, obviously irritated, but she managed to maintain her composure by pulling Yandi aside. "How is it, Yandandi?" "It's a mess. Kirk has been cheating with a girl named Tamika, and Rasheeda caught him, slapped him, and went live. Now, Mona pinches the bridge of her nose, and damn it, we have contracts and appearances coming up, a reunion to shoot, and could blow up the entire season." Yandandi looked at her. Mona paused, then slowly nodded. "You're right, but we need to figure out the fallout. Perhaps it's time to stop caring about the program and start worrying about these people's lives. Rasheeda is hurt, but she isn't considering interviews or remarks at the moment. Who is she talking to? What will she do?" According to Wendy, she is considering how she will inform her children that their father is out here, embarrassing the family once more. At that moment, Kirk, who appeared to be 10 years older than he actually was, came cautiously up to Mona and asked if they could talk. Mona gave him a chilly look and said, "You better have something good to say." Kirk nodded. "I want to make this right with Rasheeda with the fans. I'm not running this time." Mona crossed her arms and then began by being honest on camera. "You want me to film a confession?" he asked. "I want you to stop hiding behind lies," Mona replied. Tamika will nod slowly and set it up somewhere else. Mimi looked at Rasha, who had finally gotten up and wiped away her tears. "I can't let him ruin me again. I've come too far." Rasha said, "I'm not just Kurt's wife. I'm Pashida. I've built a brand, a business, and a legacy, and I'm not letting any man tear that down, so what do you want to do? I'm going back to that studio to give my side of the story, not for him, and then I'll be done with it." Rasheeda took a big breath, stood tall, and started to walk toward the set. As she got to the door, Kirk emerged from the producer's office. Cameras already rolling, mic clipped to his shirt, and everyone in the studio held their breath, asking, "Rasheeda? Can we talk?" Kirk started. "If you want to talk," she continued calmly, "you better be ready to say it in front of everyone because I'm done with secrets." She looked at him and then at the camera. The following chapter abruptly changed to something far more hazardous. Icy clarity. Kirk inhaled deeply. "I made a mistake once more, and there is no justification for it. I disregarded you, our marriage, and all we have worked so hard to create. I know that this time, it may be the end." He waited for Rasheeda to say something, but she didn't. Instead, she simply stared at him, her silence encouraging him to continue. "I was feeling neglected, like you didn't really see me anymore. But that's not on you. That's me being selfish," he said, acknowledging that Taka wasn't meant to be anything serious. "It began during a work trip in Houston. When Rasheeda finally spoke, you felt abandoned. Kirk, I've been running our businesses, managing our brand, and keeping the house together while you were out feeling sorry for yourself and creeping with models. I know it sounds pathetic, but the worst part is that I didn't stop it. It went on for months, and when she started threatening to go public, I panicked and tried to stop it, but I was already too deep into it. You lied to me every single day, made breakfast with me, and took pictures for Instagram as if we were a picture-perfect couple. I didn't want to hurt you," he said, "but you did, and you didn't even flinch when you did it." The studio was tense, and the camera crew kept filming, sensing the rawness of the moment, and even Mona, watching from the monitor room, had tears in her eyes. I know that's not enough, but I need you to hear me apologize, Rasheeda Kirk muttered. Before she could respond, a loud knock echoed from the studio entrance. Everyone turned, and a producer whispered something in Mama's ear. She hurried over, to Rasheeda and Kirk. You always apologize after the damage is done. But what about the trust you destroyed? What about the public humiliation? I slapped you in front of the world because you made me feel foolish for loving you. Kirk's eyes were glossy now, and I never meant to make you feel that way. You won't believe this, Mona murmured in a hushed voice. Tommy is here. Rasheeda blinked as she appeared, wanting to speak. It appears that she has more receipts, and if we don't let her in, she's threatening to go live herself. This is getting out of control, Kirk muttered to himself. Mona looked between the two and said, You want me to shut her down? Rasheeda paused, then straightened up and refused to let her in. A few moments later, Tamika walked into the studio as if she owned it. Her entire outfit was designer, and her face was defiant. Well, this is cozy, she said, looking around. Kirk looked mortified. Tama, what are you doing here? Telling my side, she gently stated, Because I'm tired of being painted like the villain when you were the one sliding into my DMs, making promises and acting like we had something real. Rasheeda folded her arms and said, Of course I did, and he knew he was cheating, but he kept coming back. Oh, please don't act like you. We're clueless. You knew he was married, and Tamaka didn't flinch. Don't blame me for his decisions. You leaked the voice note, Kirk responded with reproach. And I'll leak the videos too if you keep lying. When Tamika pulled back, the tension erupted once again. As crew members looked at each other anxiously, Mona signaled the cameras to continue filming. As soon as it became known that Tama had entered the building, followers began flooding Twitter with real-time reports. Rasha looked across at Tamika. You believe that you are the victim here, and that you have power by threatening us. You are merely a nameless woman in a lengthy list. Kirk used to ruin himself, but I'm the only one who dared to publicly express it. Tamika responded, You've been covering for him for years. Maybe I just did what you never could, expose the truth. The remark struck Rasheeda hard, but instead of snapping, she took a long breath. You revealed yourself, not the truth, and you showed the world that you were comfortable being someone's sidekick or secret, and now you're proud of it. Tamika's jaw tensed as she responded, I didn't come here for your approval, good. And then she looked to Kirk. You can have her spotlight, you two belong in the same mess, she said without saying anything further. Hey y'all, she said. Since the truth is out, let me break it all down. The phone was in her hand when Kirk grabbed it and cut the tape, saying, Stop enough, this clout chasing, this is my life falling apart. When security eventually intervened and pulled Tamika out, Kirk collapsed into a chair with his head in, his hands, the weight of his choices, suddenly slamming down outside. Tamika rolled her eyes. You should have considered that before you played both sides. Rasheeda sat with her hands on the driving wheel of her automobile. When her phone buzzed, with alerts, supporters sent love. Some were shocked and some people asked what would happen next. Many people phoned her saying, You okay? Rasheeda said, But I will be. Are you certain? And complete the scene? Rasheeda said, Now it's time for me to finish this chapter, as soon as I finished it. Yandi and Scrappy watched everything happen, live on a live feed in a quiet room across town, saying, This might be the messiest episode in love and hip-hop history. The night had fallen, but the storm surrounding Kirk and Rasheeda was far from over. The livestream clips of Tamika's outburst during Rasheeda's exit went viral on social media, with fans taking sides and hashtags like Team Rasheeda and Kirk Pics expose trending. Blogs were analyzing every frame of the leaked footage, while some argued that it was just another staged moment for ratings, while others insisted that this was heartbreak captured in real time at home. Scrappy said, Yeah, Yandandi whispered. But for once, maybe it's the realest too. At last, Rasheeda shed a tear or two and sat quietly. She put her phone on quiet and ignored the scores of missed calls from Kirk as the lights went down. Mona and even Yandandi discreetly looked through the comments, receiving a barrage of messages from supporters who said, You deserve better. We could see the pain in your eyes, so she decided to leave him permanently, but no amount of online support could cover the void. while Kirk sat by himself in a hotel room, gazing at his reflection. In the mirror, he appeared broken, as if he had finally come to terms with the consequences of his decisions. Kirk's betrayal had left a hole in her heart. The hotel bed was undisturbed. He tried phoning Rasheeda again after unpacking his baggage, but his mind was racing. He typed a message, erased it, and tried again, saying, "I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm not giving up on you yet." He clicked submit, not knowing whether she had even read it. The following morning's headlines included vicious gossip sites having a field day. After Kirk's side chick crashes, Rasheeda leaves, and Tamika reveals everything, and she's not done yet. Chaos in real life erupts from Mona Scott's reality empire. I understand that Mona mentioned pacing, but if we don't wrap this up, the audience needs closure. The network called an emergency meeting because the advertisers were worried that fans were demanding answers, and Mona was enjoying the spike in ratings but dreading the damage control ahead. Mona called Yandandi in hopes of getting help to smooth things over. You might want to talk to Rasheeda about possibly helping her return for a proper season finale. Mona didn't dispute since she knew Yandandi was correct, but she wasn't prepared to let the story finish without at least one last confrontation. Yandi stated firmly that Rasheeda needed tranquility, and if that means stepping away from the cameras, then so be it. 2 days later, Kurt asked to have one final conversation with Rasheeda without any cameras or crew. When Kirk arrived at her studio, Rasheeda was already sitting at her desk, calm but distant. There was no kiss, no hug, no small talk, just silence. "Thanks for coming," Kirk said, "but I didn't do it for you." To which Rasheeda replied, "I did it for myself to get closure." Rasheeda agreed, but only on one condition. It would be on her terms. "I know I failed you in ways I can't even quantify, but I need to own up to what I did, not just the lying, cheating, disrespect, and the way I took you for granted." Rasheeda listened without emotion, and you practiced that. No. Beside her. "I don't need a reminder of who we were, Kirk. I need to rediscover who I am without you." His eyes welled up. "I don't know," she said honestly, "but yes, I need space, I need healing, and I need to breathe without feeling like I'm drowning in betrayal." He nodded slowly before turning and leaving the studio, where paparazzi were waiting. Kirk ignored them, pushing through the crowd as the flashes blinded him. Wasn't just a bad day. It was the end of something sacred back inside. Kirk resisted the urge to beg. "If you ever need me, I'll be here." She whispered, "You were always there, but never really present." "Roll it," she said to her engineer. "You sure?" Rasheeda eventually opened the letter, and although his words were honest and full of regret, they were still unable to take away the agony. She folded it back up, dried her eyes, and went to the recording booth. "I need to turn this pain into something powerful," she stated. "If Kirk gets to tell the story, then so do I." Fans went crazy after Rasheeda's surprise freestyle. No beat, no hook, just words straight from the heart, was posted on her Instagram within hours. One remark read, "Give her a Grammy for emotional honesty." Another said, "Even Tamika couldn't help but watch in silence." Her moment in the spotlight had fizzled out fast, and the brand she was chasing stopped responding. Dems dried up, and worse, fans had turned on her clout chaser homewrecker. This isn't love and hip-hop. This is a mess. In the meantime, Yandi came to Rasheeda to see how you were doing. Rasheeda replied, "I will be sure you're stronger than all of them." "Anything," Yandandi continued, "and you showed it." Rasheeda retorted, "I just wanted peace, so what's next?" Fans continued to talk, blogs continued to post, and Rasheeda remained silent throughout it all. Her actions had already said everything, and Kirk continued to watch her freestyle repeatedly, replaying every moment in his mind, realizing that he might have lost her for the first time. All of a sudden, what began as a shocking slap turned into a moment of truth that rocked the entire hip-hop world, leaving fans reeling not only from the betrayal, but also from the raw emotional power Rasheeda displayed as she walked away with her head held high, while Kurt Frost is now dealing with the fallout from his actions alone. The question remains, is truly the end for Kirk and Rasheeda, or is this just another storm in their complex love story? Rasheeda is embarking on a new chapter that will be full of healing, independence, and growth. Her voice, when she finally decided to use it, hit harder than any tabloid headline, and her silence is louder than any scandal. Is Rasheeda finished being the forgiving wife, or will Kirk struggle to regain her trust? What about Tamika? Will she fade into obscurity or cause more mayhem behind the scenes? It's time for you to voice your opinion. Do you think Rasheeda should take Kirk back, or is it time for her to move on permanently? Love and Hip Hop has seen its share of twists, but nothing has hit quite like this. The slap may have been a single moment, but its impact will last for a long time. Fans are already debating online theories, and the drama is far from over. Please, share your opinions in the comments section below. If you were taken aback by what happened, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video so you don't miss another wild update. There will be more drama soon.